Based on recent media attention, one might wonder, what's with all the police violence?
Bias. Once again, bias.
Are the police out of control?
No.
Are there any honest cops left?
Yes.
Hello, my name is Amanda Olson, and for my English 4 Neo-Imperialism project, I decided to focus on the idea of the misrepresentation of law enforcement and police officers in the media. I decided to choose this topic because for the past year and a half, I have been working and a part of Wake Forest Police Department's Post 401 Explorers program, which helps youth in high school learn more about law enforcement and see if it's a career path for them. So I've been working with them for a year and a half now, and because I've gotten really close with law enforcement this past year and a half, this is definitely a topic that I think is an injustice in today's society, and it's something that I would really like to bring attention to. It's both a blend of cultural and political imperialism, and this is a really big issue in the media today because in today's age, we keep up with the media. The media is how we get a lot of our information. And today in the media, it's been especially prevalent that police brutality is a thing. And I am not in any way, shape, or form making any excuses whatsoever for the police officers out there that do the wrong thing. There are police officers that are bad out there, just as there are bad doctors out there, there are bad teachers out there. There's gonna be a bad group of people in every bunch that you find in the world today. That's just the world we live in. But the media loves to find that very, very small minority of people, and they love to expand upon that idea and force that upon the public's mind and make them think that all police officers are brutal and that all police officers do the wrong thing, which is not in any way, shape, or form the case. So, who are you, and what's your relation to law enforcement?
My name is Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm a lieutenant of the Wake Forest Police Department's Explorers program. The Explorers program is for high school age people that are interested in law enforcement. I get to go on ride-alongs, do community service, and we have monthly meetings.
So my project is about the misrepresentation of police officers and law enforcement in media. So do you believe that the media is portraying police officers and law enforcement in a negative way?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I think they like to jump on the very few officers that have made bad decisions in the line of duty. And I definitely think they prey on them and they wait for them to slip up, and they definitely like to advertise police as not the best people, even though most of them are.
Why do you think that the media likes to portray these officers in such a negative way?
I think it really gets them better ratings, more hits. I mean, that's what they're all about, and I think people not necessarily enjoy, but people like to see police officers messing up or doing things they shouldn't be while they're working. And it's definitely a major topic. It's a major topic of public interest. So they jump on that whenever something happens.
So would you say that the way that the media is portraying police officers and law enforcement officers, would you consider that an injustice?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. The overwhelming majority of all police officers are good cops. The tiniest fraction of them are not, and that's something we kind of have to face going into law enforcement, but they definitely are serving them an injustice, and it's not fair to all the other good cops.
What are some of the things that you wish the media would share about police officers?
The town of Wake Forest also puts on an event every year called Shop of the Cop, and I don't think any media ever covers that. It's when we take underprivileged kids from the community and give them $150 to go to Walmart and spend on whatever they want. But I don't think the media's ever covered anything like that. But you would definitely find out if a police officer maybe used a little too much force on someone, but when it's the small things that matter and they're not recognized.
Okay, so do you think that if the media portrayed police officers and law enforcement in a better way, do you think that there would be less hate towards police officers? Because I know in today's age there's a lot of hate towards police officers. So if you think that the media did a better job at showing the shop of the cop or showing the good things that police officers did, would you say that it would create the public to have a better relationship with officers than they do nowadays?
100%, yeah. The public trust would definitely go up because the media unfortunately does sway a ton of people different ways, and they influence a lot of people's decisions and how they feel about different things and opinions. So if they covered more of the good things, it definitely would influence the public's trust.
Yeah. So are you in agreement that yes, there are bad cops out there? Just like there could be bad doctors or bad therapists. You know, there's bad people in every group, but you're in agreement that, yeah, there are bad cops out there.
A very small amount of them. The overwhelming majority, like I said, are good cops, but yes, there of course are bad police officers out there, yes. I would definitely not go based off of certain events from other officers across the country. The community that we live in, I can't speak for other communities, but the community we live in, we have an excellent police department, an excellent sheriff's office, a good highway patrol. So I don't think you should take things from other people or take things that other people say or what the media says and use that against other police officers.
Okay, so state what you do and what your name is.
I'm a teacher, Adam Hatch, at Heritage High School.
Well, what is your opinion on this topic?
I think police officers are treated very well. I think in our society, police officers are looked at as protectors. I know this isn't true for everyone's belief structure, but my belief structure is that the vast majority of police officers do a good job and are portrayed very well. Do I support police officers that resort to using violent methods or excessive force or unconstitutional searches? No.
Okay, so then going off from that, how you think they are really well treated. So in the news or on CNN or something like that, when you see movements against police officers such as police brutality, that's a big thing in today's age, everybody's emphasizing on this idea that there's police brutality out there in the world, which is why things such as the Black Lives Matter movement and things like that have outcome from this idea. Wouldn't you say that the media is poorly representing them in the fact that they're continuing these movements against police officers?
So it's very similar to teachers. You can teach or be a police officer for 15 years with a spotless record, but you do something wrong, and because of the position of trust in the community, it's a news story. And we need to address it. But you don't address it by saying all cops are bad or every cop is out to get every bad person. I mean, we want them to get bad people off the street. I also happen to think that a lot of times when you have a group or a movement saying that a police officer did this, I think it should be investigated. I think good, meaning that I'm a big fan of citizens' councils, but we have to be prepared to accept the conclusions of those investigations. If we want, I mean, what people are saying is that the investigations into crooked cops are flawed. This is a societal problem, and we do need to, it doesn't matter what it's called. It should be called, everything should be called, we're all citizens and we all deserve to have good policing. That's what it should be called.
So do you think that with so many artists coming out and negatively talking about these police officers, do you think that that's shaping the public's mind to make them resent police officers more?
So what you've got to understand is young people always have a sense of rebellion. There's always rebellion in young people. When you lose your sense of rebellion, that's when you get old, in my opinion. And remember, police doing their job can be perceived as doing it the wrong way. And remember that these artists are doing this to make money. For disenfranchised urban or rural youth, white kids, black kids, Hispanic kids, girls and boys, to hear a song, F the police, makes them feel strong and powerful. But if their house got broken into, they're going to call the police. If if somebody came by and broke a window in their car, they're going to depend on the police doing their job to make sure that the other person's caught. Police officer jumps fence and illegally shoots guy in back, that's a much bigger news story. Remember, if it bleeds, it leads. It is unfair. In the same way that it's unfair if somebody says to a teacher that's been a teacher for 10 years and somebody says, oh, well, that teacher said the S word in class.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the fact that you've done 10 years of great work is all washed away in one word. It's not right, but it's the world we live in, and police officers know that.
Yeah. What is a solution that you would propose to this idea of the public and their perception of police officers and that police brutality mindset that they have? How do you think we can make a solution about this?
Every police department needs a citizens council of people to review claims and complaints against police officers. Regular people, just like a court system, to sit down and listen to the officer's side and listen to the complainant's side and make a decision and live with that decision. You need a citizens council. Body cam footage needs to be available for all, so we can actually see what happened, because it benefits police for us to have faith in them.
Yeah.
Enough cases will come out where the complainant will say, well, this happened. And the police officer will say, well, yeah, that happened, but it was part of a much larger picture. You need the whole picture. Yeah. And when you look at the whole picture, I think that many times you'll find that the police officer did what was right. Or we need to say, the officer didn't do this right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say.
And be honest.
And
Anything the public
needs to know. Honest about it. We don't have the first concept of the kinds of things that they're asked to do. We don't have the first concept of it. And to ask them to do this job in the middle of the night with maybe no backup and putting their life at risk, I'm willing to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. I got to be honest. Maybe people will say, well, Adam, that's because you're a white guy and you've never been pulled over for no reason. Well, that's not true. I've been pulled over. I've been detained. I've been given tickets. But I've never held it personally against the officer. Yeah. Every officer, most officers I've ever run into have done just a professional job, and I'm glad they're there.
Good deal.
Yes.
Oh, you got a question you want to ask us?
Yes, so I have a couple questions. Okay, so first off, can you just state like your name and how long you worked in law enforcement and like where you worked at law enforcement at?
My name is Gregory Nichols. I've been in law enforcement in Bradford County, Stark, Florida, and also in St. Augustine, Florida. And with me is Jennifer Doucette, who is currently a police officer with St. Augustine Police Department. I would say most definitely.
And why do you think that?
I would say in general, maybe. But I know that in the last few years, there's been a lot of people that will come up to us and say thank you for what you do, thank you for your service. So I think in general, yes, maybe there's been more of a negative.
Okay, so would you say that the media is biased in how they represent law enforcement, or do you think that the media does a good job at showing the true side of law enforcement?
No, I absolutely think the media is biased.
Why do you think that they're biased?
I agree with that. Yes, I think the liberal media is really taking it out on the police department.
Did you guys ever experience bad cops when you were out there? And did you guys ever work with cops that used too much force, or where you felt like they weren't doing their job right? Or do you feel like the cops that you worked with did a good job at representing your police department?
You answer first, Jennifer.
I didn't really have too much experience with having to work with somebody that was blatantly doing things that they shouldn't be doing. There was probably a few here and there that were maybe they were a little more aggressive than they needed to be at times, but I fortunately never had to work with somebody that was blatantly, doing illegal things.
Yeah.
I can say I've seen some overzealous police officers, and you try to explain to them that once you amp it up to a certain point, it's hard to go back.
Yeah.
So I always told the people that I work with that if you treat people the way you would want to be treated, I think you get along fine in that job.
Yeah, for sure.
As long as people let you do that.
Yeah. So, do you guys agree that the police brutality thing has been taken to a whole nother level? Or do you think that the media is correct in the sense that the public should know about the small amount that does maybe use too much force?
I think the public has a right to know when things like that happen, but I definitely think the media has taken that and they have embellished and exaggerated that. They've made big deals out of the very small amount of cases where that happens, and it has changed the minds of folks to believe that happens every single day, everywhere in this country.
I can say this about that. And I'm not saying all police officers are good police officers. That's
No,
yeah, of course, yeah.
I mean, you have bad doctors, you have bad lawyers, you
yes,
have bad
of course.
priests, everything. I think 99% of police officers want to do the job that they're hired to do. Mm-hmm. And I think, like I said, I think they would treat people the way they would want to be treated. As long as we can sit here and second guess everything all night long, but until you walk the walk and talk the talk, you really don't know what it's about.
Yeah. Very, very true.
Yes.
When an average citizen interacts with a police officer in the real world and it becomes out of the realm of media and it's real life and they get pulled over, they're gonna act poorly with that officer, and it can cause them to be in an unsafe situation because that officer is trained in a very specific way that you might not have any idea about. So when you go to interact with that police officer and the media's already shaped your mind to believe that they're corrupt and that they're going to be brutal with you, that's how you're going to be with them, and it's going to cause you to get in a lot of trouble. So with this issue being said, this neo-imperialism topic is a very important one in the sense that police officers are not all bad. We're just not. And this is a growing issue because I believe that the media is misrepresenting police officers and what they really do, and it's really caused the public's mind to dislike police officers, which is really not how the world should be today. We need police officers. We would be nothing without them. The world would be mad chaos. Police officers do a lot for us. Police officers put their life on the line every single day. Police officers have families and they go through so much and they spend so much time away from their family, having to protect me, having to protect you, having to protect the average citizen. While they're putting their life on the line, their family's at home. Things that they go through are very troubling, but they do it because they're here to protect us. And that is something that the media has shielded and hidden away from the public's mind. Police officers do so many good things on a daily basis that the public doesn't know about because the media loves to prove a point with this police brutality thing, and they love to make it out to seem like all police officers are bad, and that's just not the truth. Not all police officers are bad. There's going to be bad in every bunch. Yeah, there are, but that's not the majority. And I want society to be safe, and I want them to know how to interact with police officers and not have a negative mindset anytime they see a police officer. And I think that's something in this neo-imperialistic world that we need to fix, as it's definitely an injustice to police officers, and it's an injustice to us, and we deserve better.